All right, we're going live. Going live. Before we start, though, going to make sure that the sound is working. I had a little issue yesterday. I spent 20 minutes on a live stream, and people were watching. Yet, no one told me I didn't have any sound, so they were watching a recording of nothing. So let's do a little sound test here. Let's see.
What role did fitness?
Testing.
Role
Testing.
did fitness?
Testing. All right, sound is working. Let's get going. Cool. Well, we're going to be diving in today into how to get leads through cold email, email outreach. Now, this type of lead generation can really work for any business, but it's really, I'm going to focus it on home service companies, but you can apply it to any business. And I'm going to teach you how to use cold email campaigns. We've all heard of a cold call. Maybe we don't like them, cold calls, but they do work. They are effective. And cold email is as well, especially since very few people are applying cold email. We're not talking about a MailChimp email where you send out a branded, marketing newsletter and you look for a response. We're talking about a cold email, which is me reaching out to someone that can either buy from my business or influence my business as if I'm reaching out to them one-to-one. Let's just talk about that, right? I want to reach out to a property manager that I like, that I saw their truck in my area. So I call them, they don't answer. So I send them an email, right? A cold email, if you will. And the email's like, hey, John, I see you're here in New Jersey. I see you're in New Jersey. Our location is as well. And I was wondering if we can grab coffee to talk about a potential referral relationship. That would be a cold email, right? And if you did that, sometimes people would respond. The goal would be that how do you scale that and replicate that where you're doing it tens, if not hundreds of times or even thousands of times a day to get great results, but you're replicating as if you were sending it yourself, right? And so a cold email is a great tool, but you got to do it at scale because the open rate or the response rate is typically going to be like 1%. Response rate is going to be like 5%. A lot of that's going to be no. Maybe like yes, talk to me is like 1%, if that. And so you're going to need to do it at volume, but you can't make it look like it's being done at volume, right? And so what you got to do is you got to be able to do this in a way where people, are not feeling like they're being sold to or that they're being mass marketed to. You have to do it in a personalized way. And so before I jump into that, let's just kind of touch on the levers that you can pull. I've talked about this before, but if you're new to follow my content, first, I'm Dan Claps, CEO of Voda Cleaning and Restoration. We're a 200 location franchise chain in 30 states. And that company has grown through people and through understanding lead generation. And something we're really working to teach our franchise owners is how to understand lead generation at scale, because lead generation is, in a lot of ways, goes so against the things that you're taught. It goes so against what you would think is the right way. I'll give you a great example. They say in marketing, the time you turn up your marketing is when sales are actually down. You actually turn up your marketing. Most people, the second sales are starting to go down, they get scared, they turn their marketing off. That's the normal kind of reaction to do in business, but it's actually the opposite. When things are going down, you actually have to spend more on marketing when sales are down. And that's counterintuitive to like, I know I got to save money, but in marketing, you got to spend more. And the other thing about marketing is anything else in your business can be this like quantifiable, it can be, thanks, Cindy. I saw your shout out in the Voda chat. Thank you for that. Love that you're joining. But it's everything's so quantifiable, right? It's like I spend this and I get this from this employee or from this teammate or from this different things. You're trying to figure out your investment, your ROI. And marketing is a little bit different than that, because marketing, well, first of all, there's a difference between lead generation and marketing. Marketing is the idea of getting people to be aware of your brand. It doesn't mean they're calling you today, right? Marketing is the truck and this sign on the billboard on the road. It's the truck that drives by, that's in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot that the person sees, who then joins your company to work as a technician. And it turns out that it was the 7 touches that they saw throughout the town before they ever called and worked for you. That's marketing. That's finding people to work for you. That's finding customers to come later. That's building brand awareness. And then there's lead generation, which is like, I spend X or I do X and I get back Y. I get this lead from this campaign. But what you have to understand is that no matter how good you are at marketing, as John Wanamaker says, 50%, half of your marketing, this is what his quote was, half of my marketing doesn't work. The trouble is I don't know which half. Now, in this day and age, because of dashboards and KPI tracking, you can know a little bit better, but you're still never going to really know which half is working and which isn't. And that's part of the marketing. If you look at Coca-Cola, I think they spend, I forget if it's 2% or 7% on marketing. And literally off the top of this is Coca-Cola. We all know Coca-Cola. We all drink Coca-Cola, yet they just keep marketing themselves. And what they do is they actually try to make themselves market around a feeling. You know, it's interesting. My first business in college was in the staffing business, and I really learned a lot about marketing in that business. And one of my jobs in that business was to staff promotional brand ambassadors for different events. And one time I got a contract for the, I forgot the arena, but an arena in New York where Taylor Swift was playing. And what happened was a Coca-Cola wanted to have brand ambassadors wearing, Coca-Cola t-shirts outside the Taylor Swift concert, handing out all the people leaving the concert free Coca-Cola samples or Coca-Cola little bottles that say taste the feeling. And if you think about it, what do you feel, especially if you're a Swiftie, right? What do you feel about leaving a concert? You're leaving Taylor Swift. You're really happy. You get a Coca-Cola. You're associating that Coca-Cola with the feeling of leaving that Taylor Swift concert, right? That's taste the feeling. They're marketing a product at the right time to elicit an emotional response, because Coca-Cola's whole idea is taste the feeling. If you think about McDonald's, do they sell burgers? No, they sell that, especially back in the day when we were growing up, or when I was growing up, it was the happiest meal on the block, right? The Happy Meal. You go and you have this fun experience, you're playing the playpen, etc. Then you've got this other side, or other brands like Starbucks, they sell the experience. You've got brands like Apple, they sell Think Differently. But you've got this kind of larger marketing component. Now, that's not the topic of this conversation, but that's something you could need to focus on. When it comes to lead generation, though, what I'm here to tell you about specifically is this cold email targeting campaign. So there's 4 levers you can pull in marketing and lead generation. There's one-to-one cold outreach, one-to-one warm outreach. I go to a B&I event or a networking event of some sort, and you like me or you know me, so you refer your friend to me. It's one-to-one, it's warm, right? I know you, we know each other. I've got a friend that could use your service or refer you work, and we connect. That's in-person type of business. That's what you as an owner should be doing a lot of. The second type of lever is one-to-many warm outreach, which is kind of what I'm doing here. It's posting onto your socials content to people that do know, like, and trust you, that are connected with you on social media to get to know about your brand. Same thing with like going to like a fair and like presenting to many that kind of know you because they're at your town fair or your kid's sporting event. There's one-to-many, right? And within one-to-many, you want to be giving a lot of value. Now, one of the things I always tell people is stop trying to ask for the order on social media. Social media is about giving. Give 10 times more than you're asking. I try to think about, like, what would I do if someone was going to pay me $1,000 to make this content? What would I have to do to make it valuable? And then I give it for free, right? Or how can I give $10,000 worth of value for free? And then make the offer so good that people just have to engage with it. And over time, you build goodwill with people and they start to trust you. And then they want to give you the business. They feel indebted to you because you've been a value add, right? If I was a realtor, I would spend all my time on social giving away value on how to maximize your home's value, how to, get the best price for your listing, how to do this, how to do that, right? If I was a plastic surgeon, I would give value on that and different, content. I'd be an authority or, really a category king in the industry that I'm in. So that's one-to-many warm outreach. And then you've got one-to-one cold outreach, which is kind of a cold call, a direct email, a LinkedIn campaign, direct messaging, an Instagram direct message, cold email, cold call, direct mailers, etc. And then you've got one-to-many cold outreach. And one-to-many cold outreach would be like a Facebook paid ad, a Google paid ad, PPC, LSA, all your paid media, which is the most scalable, but obviously the coldest and the most, kind of further down the funnel. So we're going to talk today about one-to-one cold outreach, but at scale. So I'm going to show you a program. Just give me a moment here. Share my screen. All right. So one of my favorite email tools, I like Lemlist and I like Instantly AI. I think Instantly AI is really, I think Instantly AI is really one of the up and comers. I think Instantly AI is unbelievable. What you could do with this tool. So just instantly.ai, you log in. And what you can do is you can create campaigns. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a campaign. So campaign, add new, let's call it property managers in Wisconsin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some leads, which most tools, you make a great email sequence tool and then you got to go find leads. You got to go buy data and figure that out. What I love about Instantly is you can just do it yourself in here. So let's do property managers. All right. Boom. Going to give me property managers in the database. I'm going to say, I want C-level directors, managers. Okay, I got 112 results. And then I'm going to do it specifically in, let's do it super granular. Let's try just Madison. 113 results. Great. That's great. Those 113 property managers in Madison, Wisconsin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them, add to campaign, and put them in my new campaign. Okay, now what I'm going to do, literally that's it. Leads are in the campaign, and those were all literally property managers in Madison, Wisconsin with management experience. Like for me, property managers are great for our business. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make an email sequence. Now, this is something really important to understand. Everything you want to do with cold emails is counterintuitive to what you think. You are not going to do, the VODA difference, for your business. Too formal. What you're going to do is you're going to say 5-star review, lowercase, 2 words ideally. I'd even say you're going to get something that's going to elicit, get them to want to open their email. And you're going to say, you put the first name, John. I'm making something up. John, have you ever gotten a 1-star review for any of your properties? Oops. And do at VODA is help property managers get more 5-star reviews via our, via our 5-star cleaning and restoration service. Got a minute to chat about it. I'm making this up, but the point is to the point. Just like if you were emailing them, I might even say something less formal like something like coffee, right? This is how I would send somebody an email. Maybe I would capitalize it, right? Coffee. John, I see we are both in Madison. I am in restoration and cleaning and was wondering if we can grab coffee to talk about potentially referring business to one. And like not so I can, you can refer me business so we can work together, right? It would be super to the point, John, can you grab, can you grab coffee? I think we could work together well. Something super to the point. And then you're going to add a step. And you say, all right, actually, I'm going to literally do this and use it myself. So first name, can you grab coffee? I think we can work well together. We work with a lot of property managers just like you, and I would love to chat. Okay. And then, all right. Step 1 day later, I'm going to email again. 5-star review. Maybe I'm going to even, what's great about Lumen. What's great about Instantly AI is you can literally put their name too. So like first 5-star review, John. And then, I'm making something up again, but let's say I said, as a follow up to my coffee suggestion, follow up to my coffee suggestion, I would love to come and do some discounted or even free carpet cleanings for some of your properties in exchange for a 5-star review. Would that be fair? I am new to the area and want to build my reputation quickly. Like, this is what I would send somebody myself. Like if I was just sending an email, right? And so then I'm going to wait another day, or maybe I'm going to wait, in this case, let's wait 5 days, right? So 1 day, 5 days, and then let's do one more for now. What's something that could get somebody really guilty? This is aggressive, but must have the wrong email. And now some people say this is your kill email. I don't believe in that. I think you should follow up, over and over and over, a year. But let's just say you could say, John, I will stop reaching out. I think I have the wrong email. If you do want to work together, I help companies just like, and then what's great is, I could say company name, get more 5-star reviews. Maybe we try for a coffee meeting one more time. And I could add, a little smiley face, whatever. And then anyway, I could follow up again and again and again and again and again. And then what you do is, and you could personalize that more. What I love about this whole system is you could even insert an icebreaker or company, like a compliment about the company into this, and it'll pull it from the LinkedIn. But anyway, let's say this is the campaign. I save all this. Okay, we'll check it later. I schedule it. Oh, hang on, let's get it saved. I'm doing this in 10 minutes. This is how fast you can set this up at scale. And then, okay, schedule. I'm going to send this from, I like to send emails early. So I'm going to send it from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Maybe in this, let's leave it. Eastern time, Monday. I like Saturday, Sundays too. And then save that. Options. I'm going to set up my emails. I'm going to enable everything. It's unbelievable what you can do with this tool. And you put it all together, and then it'll help you with making sure your email maximization is happening properly and everything. This tool, Instantly AI, is amazing because then literally you resume the campaign and that'll start working for you. Just to give you a crazy example, just today, the 29th, we've sent 4,000 emails just today. Reply rate's 1%. That's fine. It's a huge scale operation, and the results happen at scale. And what I'll tell you is a little story, which is, you got to stop thinking about less and think about doing more. I always tell the story. So if you've heard it before, apology, but I'm going to tell it really quickly. When I first got into business, I was in the franchise business in a franchise, and they had a mailer campaign where they sent 3,000 mailers every single month. And instead of paying the $3,000 to do the mailers, where they sent 3,000 mailers to business owners offering a free business evaluation, because I was a business broker, instead of doing that, and then they also followed up on the telephone. So they could have done that. All I did was write a check for $3,000 or swipe my credit card. That would work in my area while I go do other high value tasks, network, be the mayor of the town. Instead, I decided, screw paying $3,000. I'll do it myself. And I made 300 letters, printed them myself. I stuffed them in an envelope. I couldn't even pay for the postage stamp to mail them. Instead, I put them on businesses' doors throughout the night. When they woke up, they'd have the letter. 300 a month. I saved $3,000, and in 6 months, I sent 300 letters a month. And what's crazy is, out of 300 letters, 3 people would respond. Right, 1% out of 300 would respond, and typically 1 out of 3 I would convert either to a listing, right, or to a free business evaluation, and some to a more expensive business evaluation. So in 6 months, I sold 2 business valuations that were higher priced. So somewhere around, let's say I made $4,000 off that. And then I had 3 or 4 listings. And that's great. And I remember thinking like, haha, I saved, $18,000 over the 6 months. And I got these listings and I got $4,000 in revenue. And I cheated my way or saved my way to those results. And then a mentor of mine at the time, this hit me like a ton of bricks, said, if you got 1 out of 300 and you assume that everything stayed the same, imagine if you had gotten 1 response out of 3,000, 1% out of 3,000, and closed the same amount. I would have had like 60 listings, or like sold 10 or 15 business valuations that had 10, 15, 20 business listings. Where do I make my money? I make my money in that time at selling businesses, not at saving $3,000 a month. And my point is, I'm not saying you go just spend all your money, but people so often will spend money on non-revenue generating activities, but then they'll cut costs on the marketing. I'll give you my favorite example. If you're looking at buying a franchise, I'm going to tell you this right now, and I have told every single person that buys a franchise this, and no one listens to me, honestly, and I'm going to make sure I keep communicating it more and more. If you go buy a franchise, I'll give you an example. If you buy a Voda franchise, right, our territories are large. Let's say you bought, 2 territories with us because of the size. Let's say another brand, maybe that's 3 or 4 territories, but with us, 2 territories is $100,000, and you saved $35,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 on territory fees. Take that money and spend it on marketing. You were going to spend it anyway with the other brand on more territories. I'd so much rather see you don't pay money on territories. Get less territories. Go deep in the territories that you have. Go deep, not wide. And so many people, they save money on the franchise fee, but then when it comes to marketing, they tighten up, and that's an expense. You were going to spend it on territories. And I also see people buy more territory like it's a check, like, oh, I'm buying land, or I think that's how we're programmed, right? I'm buying land. I'm investing in, future territory. But when it comes to spending money on marketing programs where there is a quantifiable return, it's like that's an expense. And that's just the wrong way to think of it. A marketing investment. And by the way, in online marketing and digital, stop expecting to get some crazy return. You just started your business, right? You just started your business. If you're a franchise owner or soon-to-be franchise owner, or you're a couple years in, I want to remind you, if you were not self-employed before, why you did this in the first place. Usually you did it to change your life. Now, you don't change your life in a month. You don't even change your life in a year. You changed think about it. If you're 40 years old, you got 40, 45, 50, 60, 70, 80. You got this whole life that's changed by you taking that leap into business owner, and you're not going to change it in 6 months, maybe sometimes, but you got into this for your life. And so give yourself 18 months, 36 months, and understand that if you spend money on Angie and Google and Facebook and all the other different marketing campaigns, you have five-star reviews. Like, why would you be getting the greatest results from the leads? You're not even good at something. Let me raise your hand if you're good at something that you used to not be good at. Raise your hand. Right? Like I used to think I was bad at golf. I never played golf. And then I would go golf with people that golfed once a week and say, oh, I'm just not good at golf. No, I didn't take lessons. I wasn't playing. I didn't practice. It's not a natural sport. You got to learn it. Right? And if you go take a lesson every week, or you ski, or you learn a language or whatever, you don't get good overnight, right? And then you get better, right? Everyone can agree that you get better with time. And so your leads are not going to change. Not that your leads got better. You got better. You got better at answering the phone. You got better at selling. You got better presence online. The better leads are reaching out to you because you've got more 5-star reviews. Stop blaming the lead provider. Yes, leads can sometimes not be great, and some lead providers are garbage. But usually, if somebody went to Google, like I had someone recently say this to me, they're like, the Google leads don't work. Okay, if somebody goes to Google and they type in, I need, painting near me, and they fill out a form, it is not a lead that isn't working. It is the responsiveness. It's the time that you're calling them. It's how you're calling them. I get, not saying that always, but more likely than not, there's 10 or 15 levers you could fix first before you blame the lead source. Are you calling within 60 seconds? Are you calling with a smile on your face? Are you calling right away? Are you following up right away? Are you sending an automated text message to them? Does the text message look the right way? Is your website branded the right way? You know, people I see, you go to their website and you go to the website and like there's a form and you fill out the form and no one responds. That's like saying, I heard a friend say this and I loved it, this analogy. That's like saying you had a store and people went to the store, right? And walked in the door and you said, no one's buying, but you kept your salespeople in the back of the room doing something. They never went up and greeted and talk to the people that came in the store. You got people going to your website, you're not even, and they're filling out a form, which you really should have like a chat bot, but they're filling out a form and then you're not calling them. No, of course they're not buying, right? Like if I walked into a store and no one talked to me at the time I was in the store to buy shoes, I'm leaving. And when they call me back the next day, I already bought the shoes. That's what's happening. You're losing people. They called somebody else. They went to somebody else. People want instant. That's unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And you have to adapt when you're doing marketing for this type of audience, which is the homeowner, right? They're busy. Like if I had an issue right now, I've got a contractor coming here between 12 and 4, and I have to call them today at one point. That's not a good example. I'll give you a better example. Let's say I needed to get a contractor here to, I don't know, do some type of, housework, a handyman. And I got 30 minutes between my 9 o'clock call and my 10 o'clock call, my 10:30 call and my lunch and my plans. I'm calling somebody and whoever answers and has good reviews, I'm going with. The guy that called me back, the gal that called me back 30 minutes later, they're out. They're done. And so speed to lead is so important. This is basic. It's simple, but it is not easy. I'm not saying any of this is easy. But when it comes to marketing, outside of these cold email campaigns to build referral relationships, you have to have speed. I'll give you another example. If in our business, if a plumber refers you to, an opportunity, a restoration job, you better be getting on the phone, getting in your car and driving there and going close the job because the plumber is going to refer somebody else if you're not there. That's just the world we live in. Put yourself in the shoes of the customer. You would do the same thing. But just to kind of recap, there's 4 levers when it comes to marketing. You've got, or to lead generation, you've got one-to-one warm outreach, one-to-many warm outreach, one-to-one cold outreach, and one-to-many cold outreach, right? And those levers are the ones you can pull. This is any business for the past 100 years. The technology's changed, but everything's the same. You either went out there and networked, you went and posted content or billboards or whatever to warm audiences. You've got cold, you got direct email, mailers, cold calls, LinkedIn messages, Instagram messages, and then you've got one-to-many cold, which is paid media, Facebook ads, PPC, Google Guaranteed, LSA, which are the best in my opinion. LSA, Google Guaranteed, SEO. And by the way, that's the other thing. You just started your business, you're not going to win in SEO. SEO is a giant game, and honestly, SEO has changed so much. It's so difficult now with AI and everything else that's going on and all the different ways that people are writing content. You know what you should do? What you should do is figure out how to maximize in the home. And sorry for a little bit of rant here, but I'll give you a great example. There was a woman in a little town. I don't remember the town. She had a cleaning business, home cleaning business. And what she would do is she would go to the home. She didn't spend any money on Google, no money on Facebook, no money on any marketing, nothing. And why is because she would go to homes. She would clean their home while the family was away. She would then, when she finished cleaning, take out her cooking supplies or baking supplies and bake cookies in their oven, put them on the kitchen table, time it around, like, I guess the homeowner's coming home, with the cookies on the table, clean the oven, and leave a note with a picture of her family. And the note said, "Thanks for having me in your home. For my family or yours, these cookies are for you." Something like that. The people walked in their home. Think about when you walk in your home and it's freshly cleaned from a cleaning person coming. And then next thing you know, it smells like fresh cookies and your kids are eating cookies. Like, and there's this note, and like, do you think she got referrals? That's how she grew the business. Nothing to do with Facebook. How many things are you doing when you do get a job from a Google ad and you go and you, for example, you paint their house and you do a great job and you're asking for the review? Are you asking for the review now, or are you asking for the next day? You know, our reviews went up 47% when we started asking on the spot. We had a QR code. Now I'll show you that. Money's made in the easy things. They're simple. They're not easy. This little QR code, one little change, little piece of plastic, laminated paper. Started doing it on the spot. 47% of reviews went up. We had thousands of reviews. 47% different when we started using this QR code. One little change. We started going to the home, doing a great job, and then canvassing 5 houses to the right and 5 houses to the left. When you start doing those things, it makes a huge difference, right? When you think about when you go to the home and you do a great job, are you asking them for referrals? You know, when I was a teenager, I sold Kirby vacuum cleaners, okay? You know what a Kirby vacuum cleaner is? Your grandma had one, right? And it was my first sales job, second sales job, 100% commission. And they gave you this freaking vacuum that was so heavy in a box. And they gave you one lead. And you had to go and and then you go there and you do a free shampooing. Okay. So I'd go to this person's house and they had you come to shampoo their rug. So you go there to do the free shampooing. And it's funny, right? Here I am in carpet cleaning. It's life is crazy. But I'd go and I would shampoo the rug. And about 10 minutes into the shampooing, you'd start to see, what are you doing? You were giving value, right? You're showing them a nice, clean, shampooed rug. And as you were going, you'd be like, hey, like, let me show you how this vacuum can help with your couch. And you would go, and they had these clear, like, containers that showed all the stuff going into it, right? All the debris and everything. And you would use this little hose and you would stick it in, like, the cracks of the couch. And, like, it was disgusting. Like, you know, things would come out, you know, their banana peel or, like, whatever. Like, things would come out. And they'd see, like, oh, my God, my couch is disgusting. And I wouldn't say that, but, you know, the clear canister that had all the debris going in it would say it, right? And then I'd somehow talk my way up the stairs and I'd clean the stairs and more stuff would come out. And I'd be up, next thing you know, in the bedroom, extracting whatever's in a bed out of the bed, showing them. And that's what would get someone to buy the vacuum. Now, they taught you how to maximize. You were not allowed to leave, you know, without persuading. And I was in my teens. I was very, you know, I don't want to say aggressive, but like you're at that age where you're like, you don't understand social cues. And I'm just trying to sell these vacuums. And I wouldn't leave. And people liked me, but they'd be to the point where like, Dan, listen, you got to go. Like, get out of our house. And then I'd have to talk about rejection. You don't just leave. You got to pack up this vacuum. Sometimes they have to help you. You carry it out and put it in your car and you drive to the next house. And you know where you go? You go to the house next door. But even when they told you no, we had this sheet and it said, who do you know? And whether they bought the vacuum or not, you'd say, no worries. Who do you know that could use this vacuum or could use this shampooing service? And not, do you know anyone even? Who do you know? One of the most powerful things you can ask. Who do you know? Not what do you know? Not do you know anyone? It's who do you know that could use this service? Give me 10 names. I'll tell you what, if you give me these 10 names, I'll give you XYZ benefit. And we would have to then you would start with, remember, they gave you one lead to start. You'd have to build this branch of business through those referrals. And you would kind of climb your way up. And next thing you know, when you did sell a vacuum to a more wealthy, because I started in, you know, Neptune, New Jersey, where they had, you know, I'm generalizing about Neptune if anyone lives there, but I just remember this first house where they had literally a like area rug, and that was their carpet. And they obviously they're not buying that vacuum. And I had to work my way up to eventually selling to, you know, multi-million-dollar homes. And when I would sell one, I would get referrals to someone, their sister-in-law, and sell it to them. And next thing you know, business was easy. It took time. It was very hard. And that example is, what I'm saying is when you paid for the Google ad and you paid for the Facebook ad, or whatever ad, and you paid for the truck and the time of the technician and the wage of the technician, and they got the gas and they drove there and they did the job. What are you doing to maximize that? Because when you go to that job and you get a $500 ticket, but you get 5 more referrals, you close 2 of the 5, they're each worth, let's say, $500 and $1,000. You didn't get a $500 ticket from the Google ad that you spent $100 on the acquisition. You got a $500 and a $500 and $1,000. You actually got, $2,000 from that $100 CAC, customer acquisition cost. But you guys aren't looking at that. You're looking at, I spent $100 and I only made $500, and the other money I spent was a waste. I got to get a credit. I got to fight these leads. That's not how it works. How it works is you look at the customer acquisition. I just did a podcast on this. I'll put this in here if you want to check it out. Talking about this exact topic, which is my kind of my superpower is lead generation, specifically in franchising and in home service. I've been doing it for 11 years. And I just talked about this. Like, it doesn't matter if a lead is $1, $10, $100, $1,000. What matters is the customer acquisition cost, right? If you bought 2 leads for $1,000 and you closed 2 out of 2, and your average ticket was $4,000, so you made $8,000 on $2,000, $6,000, a 4-time return, which, by the way, in marketing, a 4 to 1 is great, right? Would you make sense? I'd rather buy 2 $2,000 leads than 200, multi-$100. Like, it's all $20. It's all about customer acquisition costs and lifetime value. I'm going to continue putting this out. It took a very long time for me to learn this. And if you're a business owner or soon to be business owner, I think understanding lead generation and marketing is the #1 thing you can learn to make your business succeed. And so thank you for tuning in, everyone that's here, and we'll see you soon.